Yeah, the story actually evolved out of a lot of facts about climate change and interesting things that I'd read, because we consulted with Greenpeace on the project as well. But talking about the acidity levels in the world's oceans, particularly at the equator, where crustaceans are losing their shells because they're disintegrating. Literally, they're becoming really, really brittle. And so that got incorporated into the journey. The idea that the waka that Uete Rangiora is on, it actually breaks up. And the mythology around that is that it was made of dead men's bones. So the idea that this bone waka fell apart in those waters worked really well, and to try and sort of highlight that issue of the acidity in the world's oceans rising. And we drew on lots of world religions as well, and this idea of the world serpent that holds the end of its tail, bites its tail to keep all the world's poisons at bay. So as part of the story we meet the world serpent, but that's in Nordic mythology and Hindu religion, the world serpent. And also we found out that serpents living in the Indian Ocean are actually they're changing their stripes, and it's their way of adapting to the rising carbon levels, so they've lost their stripes. So it all kind of came together. The more you research, the more you find and go, oh gosh, this relates to that. And so yeah, it's been informed by a lot of facts, and also the fact there's a rahui now in Antarctica, where a sanctuary, so a percentage of that Antarctic Ocean is now the sanctuary, so that's where we travel to and end up. So there is a sort of hope for the future as long as people follow suit and create more of the sanctuaries. Taonga Moana was first posited to me as a love letter about the world's oceans, and initially all I knew was that we were going to have 2 original pieces composed for it, and then at that stage we didn't really know what the other material was, but we did know that we wanted to incorporate the 5 oceans of the world, and that maybe a journey from one end of the globe to the other would be the best approach. And so the thing that sprung up in my mind immediately was the flight of the Godwits as being a sort of way into that story, and particularly as they're sort of spirit birds that can conjure, speak to the past and future, and fly between worlds. And we had a kind of brainstorming session, but also by that stage Warren Maxwell had got its teeth into the saga, and he had discovered information about Uete Rangiora, who was a navigator from about 1650 AD, who travelled on this great journey from the Taiwan, they think, down right through the Pacific. And so we kind of settled on the idea of maybe the Kuaka were calling him back from the past to save the future. I always love working on interdisciplinary projects, so that's where I feel very happy. And to work with such skilled musicians, and I've wanted to work with voices for a long time, so to be able to work with the choir, but also to have a brief which is to get them to move and sort of do break out of the choir format was a great challenge to have, and I sort of embraced that. And also working with Karen and many of the musicians in the choir I know, so I also knew that there were a huge amount of very brave, talented people in the mix. So we have at one stage we were talking about whether we had a narrator as part of the show, an actor coming in, but we've got plenty of people within the choir who are incredible orators and narrators themselves, so they share the narration. There's a very short little pockets of narration to help with the journey of, from north to south.